Did Michael Jackson predict the future? It might sound unbelievable, but when you look at his music, his words, and even his personal fears, it's hard to ignore the eerie accuracy of some of his predictions. From warning about climate change to foreshadowing the rise of technology and even hinting at events that would shake the world, MJ seemed to have an almost prophetic vision. Some say it was just his deep understanding of the world around him, while others believe he saw what was coming long before the rest of us did. But one thing is certain, his words hit even harder today. And when you hear some of these predictions, you'll be shocked at just how much Michael Jackson got right. Earth Song, a warning about climate change. Michael Jackson's Earth Song wasn't just a plea for the environment, it was a warning. Released in 1995, the song paints a devastating picture of deforestation, pollution, and the destruction of nature. With lyrics like, "What about flowering fields? Is there a time?" And "What about forest trails? We've turned kingdoms to dust." MJ was highlighting the damage humans were doing to the planet. At the time, climate change wasn't the mainstream issue it is today. But fast forward to now, and the world is facing record-breaking heat waves, rising sea levels, and natural disasters at an alarming rate. Scientists and activists are now pushing for the same message Michael sang about nearly 30 years ago. If we don't act now, the Earth will suffer beyond repair. And he wasn't just singing about it. Michael took action. He donated millions to environmental causes and even planned a global initiative to heal the planet. But as always, his warnings were ignored. But this wasn't the only time MJ seemed to foresee the future. His next message was just as powerful, and the world still hasn't fully embraced it. Heal the world, a call for global unity. Michael Jackson wasn't just an entertainer, he was a visionary who believed in a better world. Heal the World, released in 1991, was more than just a song. It was a message. MJ urged people to come together, erase borders, and work toward a future of peace, love, and unity. He sang, "There are people dying. If you care enough for the living, make a better place for you and for me." At the time, many saw it as an emotional plea, but looking at the world today, it feels like a prophecy. From wars and political tensions to global pandemics and humanitarian crises, the world is more divided than ever. MJ's call for unity was ignored by many, but those lyrics hold more weight now than ever before. Governments, leaders, and even everyday people are realizing that if we don't come together, we risk tearing the world apart. But Michael didn't just predict global struggles. He also had chilling foresight into a crisis that would personally affect him in the years to come. A chilling warning about the prescription drug crisis. Michael Jackson wasn't afraid to talk about uncomfortable truths, and in Morphine, he did just that. Released in 1997, this dark and haunting song tackled the dangers of addiction, particularly to powerful prescription drugs. With lyrics like, "Relax, this won't hurt you before I put it in, close your eyes and count to 10, MJ painted a disturbing picture of dependency and the seductive pull of painkillers. At the time, the opioid crisis hadn't reached the catastrophic levels we see today. But now, prescription drug abuse has skyrocketed, claiming lives and shaking industries, just as Michael warned. What makes this prediction even more unsettling is that Michael himself would later become a victim of the very issue he sang about. He reportedly struggled with prescription medication in his final years, and his tragic passing in 2009 was linked to a powerful anesthetic. It was as if he saw his own fate coming, long before the rest of the world did. But addiction wasn't the only thing he seemed to predict. Michael also had an eerie understanding of how technology would reshape our lives, for better and worse. Michael Jackson's eerie prediction of a global health crisis. For years, people thought Michael Jackson's habit of wearing face masks was just an eccentric quirk. But what if he was actually ahead of his time? Michael was frequently seen in public with surgical masks, sometimes even gloves, long before it became common. Many mocked him, calling it paranoia. But those close to him later revealed that Michael had spoken about a future where a deadly virus would spread across the world. His former bodyguard, Matt Fittis, claimed that Michael was obsessed with protecting himself from potential airborne diseases. According to Fittis, Michael believed that one day, a virus would force people to wear masks, avoid public places, and change the way they live forever. Decades later, his prediction became a reality. In 2020, the world faced a devastating global health crisis, and suddenly, everyone was wearing masks, just like Michael did years before. Was it just a coincidence, or did Michael Jackson truly foresee the future? And his predictions didn't stop there. He also warned the world about something even bigger: our planet's destruction. Michael Jackson's chilling insight into global conflict. Michael Jackson wasn't just a musical genius. He seemed to have an uncanny ability to sense global events before they happened. One of the most shocking examples? His eerie references to terrorism and global unrest. In his 1996 short film for They Don't Care About Us, Michael showcased violent imagery of war, oppression, and people fighting against injustice. At the time, some thought it was just a bold artistic choice. But looking back, the themes in his work became shockingly relevant in the years that followed. After the tragic events of September 11, 2001, many fans revisited Michael's past statements, and some even suggested that he had foreseen a world gripped by terror and political chaos. In fact, Michael had once expressed fears of a world becoming more divided, violent, and controlled. He even stated in an interview, "They don't care about us. The world is full of hate. We need to fix it before it's too late." Years later, global tensions escalated. Terrorist attacks shocked the world, and divisions grew stronger, just as Michael seemed to fear. And if you think this is all a coincidence, wait until you hear how he predicted the future of the music industry. Michael Jackson's prediction of the music industry's future. Michael Jackson wasn't just ahead of his time musically, he saw where the entire industry was heading before anyone else did. In the late 90s and early 2000s, Michael spoke openly about how the music business was changing. He warned that major record labels would lose power as artists became more independent, and he foresaw how digital platforms would take over. During a famous 2002 speech, he said, "The industry takes advantage of artists. They control what you hear, what you see, and how artists make money. But one day, artists will take back control." At the time, people didn't fully understand what he meant. But today, that's exactly what happened. Streaming services like Spotify, Apple Music, and YouTube have completely changed how music is consumed. Independent artists now have the power to release music without needing a major label, something Michael fought for in his own career. Even his battle with Sony Music was proof that he saw the corruption in the industry. He exposed how record labels manipulated artists, and he believed that music ownership was the most powerful thing an artist could have. And ironically, after his passing, his own music catalog became one of the most valuable in the world, just like he predicted. But perhaps the most chilling prediction of all was what he said about his own legacy. Michael Jackson's chilling prediction of his own fate. Michael Jackson wasn't just a visionary in music, he also had an unsettling foresight about his own demise. In the months leading up to his tragic passing in 2009, Michael reportedly expressed deep fears that he was being targeted. In handwritten notes, he wrote haunting words. "They are trying to murder me." He even confided in close friends and family that he feared for his life. Michael was convinced that powerful forces were plotting against him, and he made it clear that if anything happened to him, it wouldn't be an accident. What's even more disturbing? He allegedly told his former manager, Dieter Weisner, "They're going to kill me for my catalog." Michael owned a valuable share of the Sony ATV music catalog, which included rights to songs by the Beatles and many other artists, worth billions of dollars. Then, on June 25, 2009, the world was shocked by his sudden death. The official cause was cardiac arrest due to a powerful anesthetic, but to this day, many fans believe Michael's fears were justified. But this was just one of many chilling predictions he made, and some were even more shocking. Michael Jackson knew his legacy would outlive him. Michael Jackson didn't just predict the future of music, he predicted his own immortality. Throughout his career, Michael often spoke about how he wanted to create something that would last forever. He once said, "I want my music to live on long after I'm gone. I want people to remember me, not just as an artist, but as someone who changed the world." And today, that's exactly what happened. Even after his passing in 2009, Michael remains one of the most influential figures in music history. His songs are still played worldwide, new generations continue to discover his artistry, and his impact can be seen in nearly every major artist today. His estate has generated billions of dollars, breaking records for posthumous earnings year after year. From the This Is It documentary to unreleased music, his presence has never faded. And just as he predicted, his influence only grew stronger. Michael always knew that his legacy wasn't just about hit songs. It was about something much bigger. And looking at how his music, messages, and predictions still shape the world today, it's clear that he saw it all coming. So the question is, was Michael Jackson just incredibly intuitive, or did he truly have a glimpse into the future? Michael Jackson wasn't just a global icon. He was a visionary. From predicting his own tragic fate to foreseeing major world events, his insights continue to leave people speechless. He warned us about environmental destruction, a global health crisis, the music industry's downfall, and even his own legacy living beyond him, and every single one of those predictions came true. Some might call it intuition. Others might say he was just incredibly aware of the world around him. But one thing is certain, Michael Jackson saw things long before the rest of us did. So what do you think? Was Michael just ahead of his time? Or was there something more to his predictions? Let us know in the comments. And if you enjoyed this video, make sure to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you don't miss our next deep dive into the life and legacy of the King of Pop.